Yo, real talk, you've been played your entire life. Everything you were taught about being nice, about being agreeable, about keeping your head down. That's the biggest scam ever sold to you. And right now, as you're watching this, those polite habits you think make you look professional, they're bleeding your reputation dry. Stick around because what I'm about to expose will flip your whole world upside down. Listen up, because nobody had the guts to tell you this straight. You've been lied to since day one. Your parents said, be polite and the world will be kind to you. Your teachers preached, make yourself small, be agreeable, stay safe. They sold you this fantasy that being nice is some kind of superpower, that accommodating everyone makes you strong. But yo, take a good look around. Look at your actual life right now. Who's getting that promotion at work? Is it the person who asked for permission like a scared little kid? Or is it the one who stepped up and took charge without apologizing? Who gets the respect? The one who's always smiling and nodding like a bobblehead? Or the person who can look someone dead in the eye and say no without their voice shaking? Here's the stone-cold truth that everyone was too soft to tell you. Politeness is just a fancy word for submission. When you're overly polite, when you're constantly bending over backwards, you're not being a good person. Nah, man. You're broadcasting to every predator, every manipulator, every shark in the room that you're easy prey. You're literally putting a neon sign on your forehead that says, my needs don't matter. My time is worthless. My boundaries? What boundaries? You think you're keeping the peace, right? You think you're being professional. Wrong. You're nuking your reputation. You're demolishing your authority. And you're training people, literally programming them to treat you like a straight-up doormat. If you've ever felt ignored, talked over, or undervalued at work or in life, it ain't because you lack talent. It's because your behavior is selling you out. Your habits are snitching on you. What we're about to break down are 7 specific habits. These are microscopic behaviors you do every single day without even thinking twice. You do them in your emails. You do them in Zoom meetings. You do them when you're ordering your morning coffee at Starbucks. You genuinely believe these habits make you look like a professional, like a team player, like someone people want to work with. They don't. These habits are destroying your reputation faster than any scandal, faster than any mistake, faster than anything you could possibly imagine. They're draining your status and your power drip by drip, leak by leak, until there's nothing left but this hollow shell that people feel totally comfortable ignoring and walking all over. Here's the crazy part. If you can eliminate just three of these habits, the way people look at you will change overnight. I'm not exaggerating. They won't even know why. They won't be able to put their finger on it, but they'll feel it. They'll feel this shift in the energy, this change in the air pressure when you walk into a room. But real talk, I gotta warn you, this ain't about becoming a jerk. This ain't about turning into some villain or toxic person. Nah, this is about something way more dangerous than that. This is about becoming real. And for a society that's completely addicted to fake pleasantries and performative niceness, nothing, and I mean nothing, is more terrifying than a person who no longer feels the need to pretend. All right, let's rip the Band-Aid off. Let's perform the surgery. Habit number 1, the apology reflex. Stop bleeding power. Check this out. Someone bumps into you on the street. Their fault, not yours. What's the first word that flies out of your mouth? Sorry. The waiter brings you the wrong order, completely messes up what you asked for, and you need to send it back. How do you start that sentence? Sorry, but you need to ask a question in a meeting, and you go, sorry to interrupt, but stop it. Your hemorrhaging power. You're losing respect by the second. You think you're being polite, right? You think you're diffusing tension, smoothing things over. But what you're actually doing, what's really happening on a psychological level, is you're broadcasting a signal of total inferiority to everyone around you. Think about it like this. In the animal kingdom, when a wolf exposes its throat to the pack leader, what is that? It's an act of survival. The wolf is basically saying, "Yo, I'm no threat to you. Please don't hurt me. I submit." When you apologize for things that literally aren't your fault, for existing, for taking up time, for requiring space, for being human, you're doing the same thing. You're exposing your throat. You're training the entire world to view you as a burden, as someone who shouldn't be there. Let me break down the economics of language real quick. An apology is an admission of guilt. It's a debt you pay to balance out the scales of social interaction. But check this, if you apologize when you're not even guilty, you're paying a debt you don't owe. And that inflation, it hits your reputation hard, bro. If you're sorry about the rain, sorry about the traffic, sorry about asking a basic question, your sorry loses all value. It becomes worthless. So when you actually make a mistake, like a real consequential error, and you apologize, it means absolutely nothing. You already spent your entire apology budget on someone stepping on your toe. This behavior comes from a deep-seated fear of conflict. It's a threat response. Straight up, you're trying to preemptively smooth over any potential aggression from the other person by lowering your own status first. But here's the dark psychological reality that nobody wants to admit. People don't respect those who lower themselves. They despise them. There's this concept in psychology called dominance complementarity. Basically, if you act submissive, the other person's brain is literally wired, it's hardwired to instinctively act dominant over you. By apologizing for no reason, you're forcing the other person to look down on you. You're handing them the whip and telling them to use it on you. The fix: flip the entire script. Don't apologize for a negative. Instead, thank them for a positive. Instead of saying, "Sorry I'm late," say, "Thank you for your patience." You feel the difference? "Sorry I'm late" frames you as a failure, as someone who screwed up and needs forgiveness like a child. "Thank you for your patience" frames you as a person of value who's worth waiting for, and it frames them as a generous person for waiting. It's a power move wrapped up in gratitude. It's genius. Instead of "Sorry to bother you," say, "Thank you for making time." Stop apologizing for taking up oxygen on this planet. The only time, and I mean the only time, you should say sorry is when you've actually harmed someone, when you've caused real damage. For everything else, silence is way better than submission. Habit number 2, the submission smile. Your face is betraying you. Picture this scenario. Your boss is criticizing you unfairly, saying some BS that ain't even true. Or a client is making a rude, completely out of line comment, or someone straight up cuts you in line like you're invisible. You feel that anger rising in your chest, right? You feel that injustice burning inside you. But what is your face doing? You're smiling, a tight, nervous, plastic, fake-ass smile. This right here is the #1 killer of reputation, and I guarantee you're doing it subconsciously. You don't even realize it's happening. Why do we smile when we're uncomfortable? Why do we grin when someone's disrespecting us? It's the threat response again. In evolutionary psychology, this is a defense mechanism that goes way back. Primates bare their teeth when they're scared. When a chimp is terrified of a larger, more dominant male, it pulls its lips back to show its teeth. It's a grimace of pure fear. The chimp is signaling, "Yo, I'm harmless. I'm friendly. Please don't kill me." When you smile while being insulted, you're sending the same exact signal to the aggressor's reptile brain. You're telling them that you accept their dominance. You're telling them that their bad behavior is totally acceptable, that it's cool, that you're fine with it. You're literally rewarding them for hurting you. Think about how twisted that is. You're training people to treat you like garbage by rewarding them with a smile every single time they do it. It's like positive reinforcement for abuse. It also creates this cognitive dissonance in the viewer. They see your eyes, which are fearful or angry, and then they see your mouth, which is smiling. This makes you look untrustworthy. It makes you look weak and unstable. A leader's face matches the situation. That congruence? That's power. If the situation is serious, your face should be serious. If the situation is disrespectful, your face should be cold as ice. The fix. You gotta reclaim your face, man. The next time someone's rude to you, the next time someone says something totally out of line, do not smile. But also, and this is important, do not get angry. Anger is a reaction, and reaction is weakness. You're better than that. Do the deadpan stare instead. Relax every single facial muscle. Look them directly in the eyes, no blinking, and do nothing. Say nothing. Just stare. Let that silence stretch out. Let it get uncomfortable. Let them sit in it. By removing the emotional reaction, you force the other person to sit in the uncomfortable silence of their own rudeness. You mirror their aggression with a void, with nothingness, and watch what happens. You'll see them squirm. They'll stutter. They'll try to fill the silence because they realize their attack didn't land. They expected that nervous smile, that validation. You gave them a stone wall instead. That's the moment, right there, where the power dynamic shifts completely. Stop smiling when you aren't happy. It confuses your allies and emboldens your enemies. Habit number 3, the oversharing justification. JADE, the death trap. Someone asks you to do a favor you don't want to do, or you missed a deadline, or you're declining an invitation to something. You say no, but you don't stop there, do you? Nah, you launch into this whole monologue. I can't come because my cat is sick, and then my car broke down. And honestly, I've just been so overwhelmed lately with this project at work, and my mom's in town, and I haven't been sleeping well. And you're vomiting words. You're over-explaining. You're bleeding information. In the world of dark psychology, this is known as the JADE technique. Justify, argue, defend, explain. It's a trauma response. It usually comes from a childhood where no wasn't enough. You had to provide a lawyer-level defense with evidence, witnesses, and a PowerPoint presentation just to have a boundary, just to be allowed to say no. But in the adult world of reputation and power, over-explanation is a death sentence. Why? Because he who speaks less wins. That's the rule. When you give someone a laundry list of reasons why you can't do something, you're not being polite or thorough. You're handing them ammunition to debate you. If you say, "I can't help you move because I don't have a truck," they'll say, "Oh, that's cool. I rented one already." Now you're trapped. If you say, "I can't meet on Tuesday because I'm busy," they'll say, "Okay, how about Wednesday?" You just turned a decision into a negotiation. More importantly, over-explaining signals guilt. It signals that deep down, you don't believe you have the right to say no. You're asking for their permission to have a boundary. You're submitting your evidence to the jury of their opinion and hoping, praying, they find you innocent and let you off the hook. High-status individuals do not do this. A CEO doesn't write a 3-page essay explaining why they're declining a meeting. They just decline, period. No is a complete sentence. That doesn't work for me is a complete thought. The fix. Practice the executive no. Give the refusal, and at most, one vague reason. I can't make it. I have a prior commitment. My schedule is full. That doesn't work for me. And then, and this is the hardest part I know, stop talking. Shut up. Do not fill the silence that follows. That silence? That's where your dignity lives. That's where your power lives. If you feel the urge to explain, recognize it for what it really is. Anxiety. It's your inner child, terrified of rejection, terrified of being abandoned. Soothe that child. Acknowledge them, but let the adult speak. Your reasons are for you. They're not for the jury. Stop acting like you're on trial for living your own life. Habit number 4. Does that make sense? The self-sabotage trap. You just finished explaining a complex idea. You laid out your plan in detail. You gave clear instructions. And then you drop the bomb that destroys everything you just said. Does that make sense? You think you're being considerate, right? You think you're checking for understanding, making sure everyone's on the same page. You aren't. What you're actually doing is insulting yourself and insulting your listener at the same time. Let me break down the subtext of this phrase, the hidden message you're sending. Subtext A. I'm such a terrible communicator who can't string together a coherent sentence. So, I need to check if you somehow manage to understand my gibberish. Subtext B. I think you're kinda stupid and might not have the cognitive capacity to grasp my basic concepts. So, let me make sure you got it. It's a lose-lose situation wrapped up in what sounds like a polite question. Psychologists call this assurance seeking. It's a verbal tic that reveals deep insecurity. You're not asking if the content makes sense. You're asking if you make sense. You're begging for validation, for someone to tell you you're okay. Imagine a pilot coming over the intercom. Ladies and gentlemen, we're experiencing some turbulence, and I'm going to take us to a higher altitude. Does that make sense? You'd be terrified. You'd grip the armrests and start praying, wondering if this pilot even knows what they're doing. Why? Because a leader assumes clarity. A leader knows what they're saying is coherent because they know what they're talking about. When you ask, does that make sense? You instantly lower your status relative to the listener. You place them in the position of the judge who gets to decide if your words have any value at all. The fix. Delete that phrase from your vocabulary immediately. Assume you made sense. Trust yourself. If you genuinely need to check that the other person is following along, flip the dynamic from seeking validation to inviting collaboration. Instead of, does that make sense? Ask, what are your thoughts? How does that sound to you? Do you have any questions? See the difference? Asks, am I okay? Did I do good? What are your thoughts? Asks, are you with me? Let's collaborate. It keeps you in the driver's seat. It treats the other person as a peer, not as a confused student. And it treats you as an authority, not as a nervous amateur stumbling through an explanation. Trust your voice. If they didn't understand, let them take the responsibility to ask. That's on them. Habit number 5. The yes addiction. Pathological agreeableness. We live in a culture that glorifies the yes man, the yes woman, the person who's always available, always down for whatever, always ready to help, always there. You think being the go-to person makes you indispensable, right? Like people will value you more because you never say no. Actually, it makes you invisible. It makes you worthless. It's basic economics. Supply and demand. If the supply of your time is infinite, if you say yes to every coffee chat, every extra project, every favor, every request, the value of your time drops to zero. Scarcity creates value. Gold is valuable because it's rare, because you can't just find it anywhere. Air is vital for survival, but it's free because it's everywhere. You've become air. Necessary maybe, but taken completely for granted. Nobody appreciates air until it's gone. Psychologists call this pathological agreeableness. It stems from a fear of abandonment, a fear of rejection. You believe that if you say no, people will stop liking you. You believe your utility, your usefulness, is the only reason people keep you around. So you become a resource to be mined. You become a tool. And here's the dark reality nobody talks about. This breeds hidden resentment. You say yes with your mouth, but your soul is screaming no. That cognitive dissonance, it rots you from the inside out. You become bitter. You become passive-aggressive. And people can smell that fake enthusiasm from miles away. They can sense the inauthenticity. Even worse, humans respect boundaries way more than they respect compliance. Think about the people you respect most in your life. Are they the ones who bend over backwards for everyone? Or are they the ones who have a clear mission, clear priorities, and protect their time fiercely? The person who says, "I can't do that right now, I'm focused on X," is viewed as a high-value professional with priorities and direction. The person who says, "Sure, no problem," to everything is viewed as a pushover with no backbone and no direction. You teach people how to treat you. If you never say no, you're teaching them that your needs don't exist. You're teaching them that you're an NPC, a non-player character, in their video game, just waiting around to facilitate their quest while they're the main character. The fix. You gotta manufacture scarcity. Even if you're free, do not always be available. Pause before you agree to anything. Check your internal compass. Use this phrase, "Let me check my schedule and get back to you." That phrase alone buys you massive power. It signals that your time is accounted for, that your life has structure, that you're not just sitting around waiting for someone to give you something to do. Start saying no to the small things so you have the energy and bandwidth to say yes to the big things that actually matter. Stop setting yourself on fire just to keep other people warm. They won't mourn your ashes when you burn out. They'll just look for another log to burn. Habit number 6, the just virus. Linguistic castration. Go ahead, open up your inbox right now. Check your text messages. Search for the word just. I guarantee you'll find it everywhere. I just wanted to check in. I just have a quick question, just following up. Just wondering if this tiny 4-letter word is the most destructive virus in the English language. It's the verbal equivalent of walking into a room with a "kick me" sign taped to your back. Why do we use it? We use it to soften the blow. We use it to make ourselves smaller, less threatening, so we don't appear aggressive or demanding. I just wanted to ask, translate psychologically to, I know my existence is an annoyance to you, so I'm gonna minimize my request to the absolute microscopic level, so you don't get mad at me. This is what linguists call hedging. It's a protective shield used by people who are terrified of their own authority, terrified of taking up space. But here's the irony, the twisted joke. When you use qualifiers like just, sort of, kind of, or maybe, You signal to the listener's primal brain that you don't even believe in what you're saying. And if you don't believe it, why the hell should they? Imagine a surgeon walked in before your heart operation and said, "Yeah, so I'm just gonna sort of try to fix your heart today, maybe." You'd run. You'd sprint out of that hospital. You want a surgeon who says, "I am going to fix your heart. I know what I'm doing." Certainty is safety. Ambiguity is danger. When you hedge, you're not being polite. You're being unsafe. You're making the people around you anxious because they can't feel your backbone. They can't trust you. Psychologically, humans naturally value confidence over competence. It's a cognitive bias, and it's real. When you minimize your speech with words like just, people subconsciously assume your value is minimal too. You're framing your request as a burden before they even hear what it is. The fix. Go on a just detox for the next 7 days. Delete the word just from every email and text before you hit send. It's gonna feel aggressive. It's gonna feel rude. You'll type, "I am checking in on the report," and your brain will scream, "Too harsh." Add just. Resist that scream. "I am checking in on the report." It's not rude. It's clear. "I have a question." It's not demanding. It's a statement of fact. Leaders don't just want a moment of your time. They take it because they know they matter, because they know their time and your time are both valuable. Stop apologizing for your own intent. Stop making yourself small. Habit number 7, the self-roast ritual. Marketing your own incompetence. This is the final nail in the coffin, and it's the one you probably think makes you charming and relatable. You make fun of yourself. "Oh man, I'm such a disaster today. I'm terrible at math, don't even ask me. I'm a total mess, I swear. I'm so disorganized. It's embarrassing." You think self-deprecation makes you sound humble. You think it makes you relatable, approachable, one of the guys or girls? Wrong. Dead wrong. It makes you look like a liability. It makes you look incompetent. There are 2 dark psychological mechanisms at play here. First, confirmation bias. The human brain is lazy. It doesn't want to do the hard work of evaluating you from scratch every single day. It looks for shortcuts, for labels. When you tell people, "I am disorganized," you're literally giving them the label to slap onto your mental file. Once you label yourself, the people around you subconsciously start filtering all your actions to match that label. If you drop a pen, they think, "See? He said he was a disaster." If you do something great, something impressive, they ignore it because it doesn't fit the label you gave them. You are actively marketing your own incompetence. Stop doing the opposition's research for them. Second, forced emotional labor. This is the part that's actually rude, that's actually a burden on other people. When you insult yourself, "I look so ugly today," you force the listener into an awkward social contract. Social norms dictate that they have to disagree with you. They have to perform. They have to say, "No, no, you look great. Stop it." You're not being modest. You're fishing for validation. You're trapping your friends and colleagues in a script where they have to perform unpaid emotional labor to fix your insecurity, to prop you up. It's exhausting to be around someone who constantly trashes themselves. Eventually, people will stop arguing with you. Eventually, when you say, "I'm a mess," they'll just nod and agree. And that's the day your reputation dies. The fix: kill the self-roast. If you make a mistake, own it, fix it, and move on. Do not turn it into a character trait, into part of your identity. I made an error on the spreadsheet. Here's the corrected version. Not, "I'm so stupid. I always mess up numbers. Separate the behavior from the identity. And if you want to be humble, if that's genuinely your goal, be humble by highlighting others, by lifting them up, not by debasing yourself and tearing yourself down. True humility isn't thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less. Big difference. The shadow, why we do this to ourselves. So why? Why do we apologize, smile, hedge, and roast ourselves into oblivion? Why do we sabotage our own reputation like this? Because we're terrified of our own shadow. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst, taught that every human being has a shadow. It's the part of your psyche that contains your aggression, your power, your selfishness, your capacity for danger and violence. From a young age, you were taught that your shadow was bad. You were taught that anger is bad, that selfishness is bad, that disagreement is bad, that conflict is bad. So you repressed it. You cut off 50% of your psyche and locked it in the basement. You became the nice person. But here's the profound, uncomfortable truth, that no self-help book, no motivational speaker, no guru will ever tell you straight, you cannot be a good person if you're not capable of being a dangerous person, if you're harmless, if you're incapable of saying no, incapable of conflict, incapable of defending yourself, incapable of aggression when necessary. You're not virtuous. You're just weak. A rabbit is not virtuous because it doesn't eat the wolf. It can't eat the wolf. It's not capable. True virtue, true power, comes from having the capacity for mayhem, the capacity for aggression, the capacity to be rude if absolutely necessary, and then keeping that power under voluntary control. That's what it means to be a gentleman or a gentlewoman. You have to have the teeth to be gentle with. Otherwise, you're not gentle. You're just harmless. The habits we discussed today, the smiling, the apologizing, the self-deprecation, these are all behaviors of a person who has rejected their own shadow. You're trying to prove to the world, look, I'm harmless, I'm nice, I'm safe, please love me. And the world looks at you with contempt because the world knows deep down on an instinctual level that a person who cannot protect themselves cannot protect anyone else. They can't be trusted. They can't be relied on. The integration, becoming whole. When you stop these habits, you're not becoming a villain. You're not becoming some toxic person or a jerk. You're integrating your shadow. You're showing your teeth just for a second, not to bite, but to show that you have them. And in that flash of teeth, people see that you're whole. They see that you have boundaries. They see that you respect yourself. And because you respect yourself, they will respect you too. That's how it works. This is not an overnight fix. I gotta be real with you. Tomorrow, you're gonna feel the urge to apologize for no reason. You're gonna feel the urge to say just. You're gonna feel the urge to smile when you're angry. It's a biological addiction to submission. It's wired into you. But now you have the red pill. Now you can see the code, the matrix. Every time you catch yourself doing it, you have a choice. Do you want to be the prey? Or do you want to be the architect of your own reality? The final challenge. The next time you walk into a room, try it. Hold the eye contact a second longer than feels comfortable. Drop the just from your sentence. Accept a compliment with a simple thank you instead of deflecting. Feel that tension in the air. That tension? That's not something to fear. That tension is the weight of your new reputation settling into place. That's the feeling of people recalibrating how they see you. That's power. Welcome to the other side. Yo, if this video opened your eyes, if this made you see things differently, understand something. This is only what I can show publicly on YouTube. There are videos I straight up cannot upload for everyone to see. There are aspects of dark psychology, of human behavior, that I simply cannot discuss publicly on this platform without getting censored, demonetized, or straight up banned. The algorithm suppresses the most powerful information because it's too real, too raw. Those videos? They exist behind the join button. If you're still here right now, watching this, you're not like the others. You're different. Subscribe if you haven't already. That's the bare minimum. But if you want what's hidden, if you want the uncensored stuff, the real deep dives, click that join button and step into the architect level. You'll unlock exclusive, uncensored videos that dive into the deepest, darkest parts of the human psyche. Stuff most people won't ever see. Stuff most people can't handle. That's the whole point. Let's go.